They're going to come marching home all the way to the
You were so close to nailing that one.
A.J. Brown is an absolute
He's a what? What were you even going to say?
Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast recorded right here in the heart of Sin City. Join Mike and the Feather as they dive into the world of sports bet predictions, game analysis, and serve up a healthy dose of Vegas-style humor. Whether you're looking to ride the winning streak or soar to new heights in your football knowledge, this is the podcast for you. Let's embark on this gridiron adventure together from the entertainment capital of the world.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Fade or Fly. This week, once again, with Mike and the Feather. I am not stuck in the studio alone, which is probably better for all you people watching, not having to listen to me all the time. I want to thank you for being here. As always, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. Thumbs up down below. Really does help us out. We appreciate everybody who's been viewing and commenting. We respond to all the comments we can. Keep them coming. We like the feedback. We like your opinions, good and bad. We use it all to our benefit. And, yeah, that's the housekeeping stuff for the beginning of the show. Now, the Feather, he was out a little bit sick last week. The man is still battling a cough. He's braving it into the, you know what? I've started to call this the studio. Not a Phil Collins reference, but it's not really a studio. It's like a pseudo studio.
Yeah.
Officially the Fade or Fly studio.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Guys, bear with me today. My voice is a little off. I got a little bit of a cough lingering. Not feeling 100% by any means, but that's still better than how the Green Bay Packers played last week. God, they were terrible. Just first half anemic offense is brutal. But
I feel like we need to have that meme where it says Packers. Actually, it's correct. I was going to say the Packers are tanking. It could be the Packers. The Packers are tanking for a new quarterback. Changed my mind.
No, they're not. Jordan Love's going to be fine. Not worried about it. A long year. They're a young team, the youngest team in the NFL. So let's just see what happens, I guess. That's all I got to say about that. Big week. No buys for any teams. So we got a full slate of games today.
All right, so before we go into Week 8 picks, let's just take a look and see what happened last week on the picks for Week 7. So Week 7 just was not a pleasant week all around. A lot of crazy stuff happened. I think a lot of people were surprised by the results. And one thing that just the results around the NFL in general. And one thing I noticed, and I'm asking your honest opinion on this, is do you think this is a little bit of a weird season because it seems like more often than in the past, coaches aren't taking points when they can. The so-called analytics are having them go for more 4th and 3s. In places where there might have been a field goal, in places where there might have been a punt and a defensive stand. So the opponents are now getting the ball back with a shorter field. I just feel like there's a few more things this season that are happening that are kind of getting into the mix.
Yeah, it's been a weird year. I mean, we got the Cowboys who all of a sudden are lacking aggression and they're very vanilla with Mike McCarthy calling the plays. Brandon Staley who goes for it on 4th down on his 15-yard line. So it's, coaches are going with analytics and they're leaving points out there. They're going for 2-point conversions instead of extra points because the analytics say so. So, yeah, it's an odd year as far as from that standpoint. The scoring overall on the year is way down, like way down. If you've been betting unders, you are banking right now because it's been low-scoring games, a lot of questionable coaching calls, a lot of poor officiating. So it's just been one of those seasons where you take your lumps and you hit the ups and downs of everything. And we took our lumps last week, finishing, 1-3. Luckily, we hit the, one of 2 4-unit plays. So, finished a little over 4 units in the negative overall with juice and everything, 4 point something. It is what it is. The Packers are falling short now 2 weeks in a row to the Raiders and then Denver. Games that were very winnable that they could easily be 4-2, but they had an anemic offense last week in the first half and fell short. I didn't see it coming. I mean, I do not bet with my heart, but for some reason this team is just they're young. They're very young and
they have a ways to go.
Yeah.
Would this have been the appropriate week to put up the Dead to Me graveyard?
No, they're not entering the Dead to Me graveyard at all. But I'm definitely not picking them in my my picks today. I'm going to sit and watch. I feel like they at home should be able to beat the Vikings, but not touching them, not suggesting them. I'm going to sit back and watch the game, and hopefully at the end of that Sunday game, I'm going to be happy. So, yeah, so other than that, I mean, the Eagles, they got a big win against Miami. I called that. And, outside of that, it's on to a new week, and we got some good ones for you this week as far as picks go. And let's dive right into it.
Yeah, let's get right into it. And that leads us to the Feathers Take It to the Bank picks for NFL Week 8. Okay, the first game we're looking at, all of these games are 1 p.m. Eastern time games, so 10 a.m., the morning games here on the West Coast. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are a 6-point favorite at home. I honestly, even though I hate the Cowboys, haven't followed them too much, nor the Rams. The only thing I know right now is that the Rams are allowing 117 rushing yards per game. And with Tony Pollard on the field, who's only averaging 3.9 yards a carry for the season, is this going to be a big game for him, or are the Rams going to step up? What are you looking at to happen in this one?
Well, the Cowboys are on a 10-game home winning streak right now. They're coming off a bye, which is always usually a good thing. Give them a chance to get healthy and work out some kinks and, refocus the team's offense and everything else. Tony Pollard, you spoke to him averaging 3.9 yards a carry this year, but lifetime against the Rams, he's averaging over 10 yards a carry in the 3 matchups against the Rams. So that's huge. And that was as a backup to Ezekiel Elliott, and now he's a starting back. So I think that he's definitely going to have a successful game in the passing game and the running game. The Cowboys play the Eagles next week. That's their big matchup. And a Cowboys win this week and a Cowboys win next week would mean, they'd be in a first place tie.
Definitely, that's something to play for, yeah, for sure.
So Cowboys definitely are looking to get a big win this week, so they can't afford to take a big third loss going into their huge matchup against their big rivals, the Eagles, next week. So I think they're going to be very motivated. They will not be looking forward, and I think Dak Prescott will right the ship. CeeDee Lamb has been a beast so far this year, and I think Mike McCarthy just needs to free up his vanilla offense a little bit and put some more, a little more aggression into it. On the other side of the ball, the Rams, they're exceeding expectations. They're doing better than was expected. Cooper Kupp is back, and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are actually battling. You would never have thought that last week Cooper Kupp would take a backseat to Puka Nacua, but he did. So they have a lot of potential weapons on this team. They're looking good. Their running game is getting retooled with the emergence of Henderson coming back, a player from last year's and prior teams. They signed him off the waivers because of the fact that they're facing a lot of running back injuries within the organization. I think that Dallas is they're at home. It's going to be some home cooking. They're doing really well. 10-game home winning streak coming off a bye. I love Dallas in this one. Dallas is going to take it to the woodshed. They're 6-point favorites. I think they'll win by double digits, no problem. So my pick is the Dallas Cowboys -6 for 4 units, baby. So how about them Cowboys? They're going to get it done this week.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
The Rams are going to get taken to the woodshed, and they're going to be on to week 9, sitting nicely at 5-2. And that's where I'm at.
All right, and speaking of the Eagles, have them coming up next. We have the 1 p.m. game between the 6-1 Philadelphia Eagles and the 3-4 Washington Commanders. Commanders are coming off a loss. The now 2-5 New York Football Giants. We're making the push. We waited a little bit longer than I expected. We're gonna get there.
So making a push means getting the second win and being 2-5. That's
making the push to screw ourselves out of maybe possibly considering getting rid of Daniel Jones, but that's a whole different topic. But the Commanders are definitely pissed coming off of that loss to the Eagles. I read some nice articles. They're tired of getting blown up by the Giants. I don't know if that was so much a blow up as it was just two teams that were playing fairly mediocre football, and someone had to be slightly more better than the other team, so to speak. But enough of that. Commanders hold the series lifetime edge as a division game, 89-83. So it's still pretty close, right? With just 5 ties in there as well. So they're kind of right in the mix.
The Eagles, they got the tush push working for them. I think they attempted it 8 times, and they were 8-0 last week doing the tush push. So they got that locked down. Jalen Hurts is yet to play his best football of the year, and yet they're still doing well. Yeah, A.J. Brown is an absolute beast right now, and this team is for real. DeAndre Swift is looking great at running back. He's been a huge offseason acquisition. He's doing outstanding things. He's found his footing with this team, and he's got this Eagles running game going big time in the right direction. 2 words, Sam Howell. This guy has been sacked 40 times this year. 40 times. Let's put that in perspective. 40.
It's 5 times a game almost.
Week 8, 40 times. How is he still alive? Unbelievable. That guy is still playing football, and he's been hit 40 times. That's not even counting all the times he was hit. That wasn't a sack. I mean, the Eagles' front 7 is going to eat. They are going to eat. They're going to get plenty of sacks this game. And I just don't see Washington with their running game being able to penetrate this front 7 of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are only allowing 62.9 yards a game to offenses on the running game, and they went and got reinforcements in free agency to back up their defensive injuries in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. So they're kind of shoring that spot up as well. I know that Washington played well the last time they played Philadelphia in Philadelphia, and they could have won that game. But this Washington team is a different team right now than they were back then. They're bad. I mean, to go ahead and play and put up 7 points only against the New York Football Giants, that sums up where they're at. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, he's not long for this team anymore. I think that, I'm not saying it's his fault. It sounds like Washington's going to have a garage sale of all their players. I mean, it sounds like any player is open to be traded.
Well, that's my question, too. Where is Terry McLaurin this season?
Where's all of them? I mean, Jahan Dotson was supposed to be so good this year. He did some good things last year, and he's been kind of quiet the whole year. Terry McLaurin, who's your standout number 1 wide receiver, he's been mediocre at best.
1 touchdown through 7 games.
Yeah, it's ugly. So this team is it's got problems. The Eagles have won 4 of their last 5, whereas the Washington Commanders have lost 4 of their last 5. So the line was 6.5 Philadelphia. I loved it at 6.5. I still love it at 7 now. Where my pick is the Eagles -7 for 2 units. They're going to get it done. They're not going to have any setbacks, just like Dallas isn't going to have any setbacks, and they're not going to be looking ahead to the big game next week between those two. The Eagles are going to come out, and they're going to get it done. They're going to win by double digits as well this week, and it's going to set up a huge matchup in the NFC for Eagles versus Dallas Cowboys. And, it's going to be a great game. So Eagles, easy peasy, -7, 2 units.
You made a really good point there, too. Is I don't know if there's any games that teams can look past now. I mean, we have so-called trap games, but like any game this season can definitely go awry. And we've had some ones this season that seem like teams should have never lost, and it's happening. So again, could be kind of with the analytics and changing the way teams are going for points and not going for points, but it's definitely throwing some interesting scenarios in. So yeah, but that would be a big game for the Eagles and Cowboys. So if they're smart this week, they'll play tight and get that matchup where it really counts. Third pick of the week, NFL Week 8, another 1 p.m. game between the 3-4 New Orleans Saints and the 3-4 Indianapolis Colts. This one's a pick 'em. You can kind of see why. Both teams are either of these teams good? It seems like they're complete dumpster fires in one game, and then they turn it around. Now, with maybe the exception, I know it's the age-old excuse, but it really seemed like the Colts got a bit screwed by the refs last week, especially towards the end. Saints have actually won 9 of the last 14 times they've played the Colts. So what's happening here?
I mean, 2 words, Gardner Minshew. This guy, he's averaging about 169 yards a game.
And one fine mustache.
Oh, guys and mustaches. First of all, just don't do it. That's all I got to say. Don't do it. Gardner Minshew, 169 yards per game this year, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a whole bunch of turnovers. He's got problems. He's feast or famine. He makes some big plays, but he makes more bonehead mistakes overall. He can scramble. He's a decent runner. He got a couple touchdowns last week. To our chagrin, he pirated a couple touchdowns off of our fantasy guy, Jonathan Taylor, by running in the ball. And he should really leave those duties to the workhorse stud, Jonathan Taylor. and work on him not fumbling the ball and throwing interceptions. But that's just me. That being said, the Saints defense is only giving up 187 yards passing per game, 98 yards rushing per game, which is unbelievable. The Saints defense has only given up 3 rushing touchdowns. So that does make it kind of scary for the Jonathan Taylor-led backfield, if they're going to be able to run on them or not. As far as passing-wise, we obviously know Gardner Minshew hasn't exactly lit the world on fire in the air. The Saints defense is unbelievable. So I think that they are a veteran squad. Now, their problem right now has been the offensive side. You got yourself Chris Olave where, in past weeks, he's kind of been open, and then Derek Carr can't get the ball to him, or he's not running the right route on a given time. He had some trouble this week in the news. He got a speeding ticket. He was going 35 miles an hour over, got arrested. We've all sped. But the key is he's going to be a burner on the field this week because I think he's going to light it up in the dome. Chris Olave, look to him have a big game this week. I think he's going to have 100-plus yards receiving. Now, as far as the rushing game goes, you got Alvin Kamara. The guy is catching a ton of balls in the backfield. Derek Carr, it's because he's throwing the ball so short that if you have Alvin Kamara in your fantasy squad, the guy's catching about 13 balls a game. And, last week he had a big game all around, all-purpose yards. Look for Alvin Kamara to eat quite a bit in this game. I think he's going to have a big game as well. I think Derek Carr is going to right the ship a little bit. He's been very inconsistent. But I think the combination of him and then these little gadget plays they have with Taysom Hill, they're both going to come together nicely. And I think the defense of the Saints is going to be critical and key this week. So my pick for this game is the Saints as a pick 'em, 2 units. The Saints are going to come marching home all the way for a victory. So let's get it done. Saints, 2 units, pick 'em, boom.
1 p.m. Eastern Time game, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. We have the 3-3 New York Jets at the 2-5 New York Football Giants. The Jets are 2.5 points on the road favorites. Of course, for those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, these two teams play in the exact same stadium. We just repaint the grass and flip the poles and everything. But despite playing in the same stadium, this is only the team's 15th matchup in history. Giants hold the edge 8-6, so history is on our side. You would say probably bet everything on the Giants based on that one stat, but I'm sure you have better advice for us. I will say Jets rushing defense is in the middle of the pack this year. They're allowing 811 yards, so 135 yards per game. So we have one Mr. Saquon Barkley on the other end, who I think a lot of the offense, if not all of the offense, is going to have to go through. And New York is 7th in the NFL, and New York Giants, got to get this right with this game. They've allowed 1,300 yards in the air, so 216 yards per game. But Zach Wilson is only averaging 183 of those yards. You know who I would go with? I'd have to bet heart over head, but I'm sure you have something smarter for us than that.
The Jets coming off a bye. I think that's gonna get Zach Wilson right again. In fact, Zach Wilson's been playing really good. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes when they played in that matchup, and they fell short due to the referees, of course. And I like this Jets team. I think their coach, they respond well to him. This defense, Sauce Gardner is going to be back. This Jets defense is stingy, especially the defensive backs.
And they beat the Eagles without Sauce Gardner.
Right,
So.
They beat them without their top 2 defensive backs. So both of those guys are going to be back from concussion protocol. Breece Hall is lighting it up. He's a league-leading 6.5 yards per carry this year, which is unbelievable. And the Giants' defense, they're giving up 140 yards rushing per game and 10 touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns given up by the New York Giants. Now, in as far as on the side of the offensive blunders of the New York Giants, the Giants have 10 turnovers this year themselves, and the Jets have 13 takeaways, 3rd in the league. So the Giants like to give the ball away, and the Jets like to take it. So it's kind of a good little relationship, a little give-take. The Giants tend to give more than they take lately. I know you don't want to hear this, but there's just no way the Giants win this game. The Jets are going to take this game. They are going to run with it. It's going to be ugly. I think Zach Wilson's going to do enough to get it done. I think that Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson connection is going to be a good one this week. I think it's going to be a 1 or 2 touchdown game for Garrett Wilson. I think Breece Hall is going to get a touchdown or 2. And I think, a lot of people think the Jets and the Giants, this game's going to be like a 6-3 ball game or something, which it very well could be. But I think actually there's going to be a little more offense in this one. I think the Jets are going to get it done. They're going to win somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 14 points. I think the Giants, I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of, 31-16, somewhere in that neighborhood. But
31 is a big number. You've been watching Sesame Street this morning, getting your education?
But we'll see. I think that there's going to be some points put on the board. I think a lot of people are assuming this is going to be one of those, 6-3, 10-3, 14-10 games. I think that the Jets are going to put up 20 plus. Take the Jets minus 2.5, 2 units. I love it. I love all 4 of these picks.
Let's just say that somehow the Giants do miraculously pull off this win. Brian Daboll said that no matter what happens, Daniel Jones remains the starter. But if Daniel Jones stays out and the Giants start winning, do you think there's any world where they consider looking at alternatives? I ask this every week, but I've never been a big Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes believer. And I feel like maybe is he going to be the problem that we don't get to solve until he somehow is no longer there?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He had a rough start and then he got hurt. So, we'll give him the year to figure it out.
Hey, at least he got hurt legitimately and stayed out, unlike some other quarterbacks who get hurt and get cleared and decide not to play for the rest of the game. Not naming names.
You mean, I'll name names. Deshaun Watson. That guy is a piece of trash. He's setting back guaranteed money for players for the future. Him and Kyler Murray are 2 of the top reasons why NFL owners can be like, forget this guaranteed money, because both guys to me are lazy piles of puke that flat out could care.
I may have to edit that one down a little bit.
Could flat out care less about team or anyone else besides themselves.
Well, here's the thing I got last week too, is they said that they kept Deshaun Watson out of the game to protect their franchise quarterback, and then once again their non-franchise quarterback is going out there and winning games for them. So then what are you protecting for? I mean, obviously I understand for the comments blow up. I understand that Deshaun Watson is a much more experienced and potentially talented quarterback, but like, why pay somebody if you're not going to play him?
Deshaun Watson is like a spoiled trust fund baby. I mean, he basically got this guaranteed money and he doesn't have to play. He can each week be like, no, my toe hurts. Just get him out of the league. He doesn't want to play football. That being said, big Sunday coming up. Looking forward to it. No buys for anybody.
Well, as a buy for me, I will not be at the Westgate this Sunday just because I'm going to my annual Halloween party.
There's a possibility I won't be there either. It depends how I feel.
Yeah.
It might be an NFL red zone kind of day for me, but we'll see. A couple days between now and Sunday, but
And for those who did notice, we didn't have a Tuesday show. We actually talked this past Tuesday about mixing things up. We've been wanting to do other stuff. I've been talking about it. Other stuff outside of just NFL. We want to go ahead and enjoy Vegas with our viewers as well, and the things we go out and do other than sweat football for 12 hours every Sunday afternoon. So we got something planned that's coming up. That'll probably be the process going forward. The pick shows will probably be just once a week. This week, you'll also notice there will not be another teasers and parlay segment. This man has to go get some rest. I did ask him on the spot if he comes up with anything before Sunday, if he wants to put it in a short, I'll put it out there, but he does need to go ahead and recover a bit too. So we have some more exciting stuff. I think it's going to be exciting. He's not faking it. This is proof.
I should be back 100% next week, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this week.
But we have some stuff coming up, and it's going to be more fun because it's going to be a little more creative for me, and I've been wanting to put some stuff out there. I'm looking forward to it. So we have to get out there and start filming it, though. So you got to go home and recover.
Yeah, it's been a rough go. I mean, it's been a rough, 10, 12 days. Like I said, thanks for bearing with me, guys. I put in the effort to get these 4 picks in, and that's all I can muster outside of that. So hopefully next week back to 100%, but right now I'm just a little under the weather and playing hurt, unlike Deshaun Watson.
Okay. There's a underlying theme in your comments, I can tell. That's going to wrap it up. Then I'm going to let you get resting so I can get editing. Guys, thank you for guys and gals and everybody else. Thank you for watching. We enjoy doing this. We hope you get some enjoyment out of it, whether you're betting with us, against us, or just watching for the entertainment value. We appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you very soon with some new stuff and some more picks.
Let's hit Vegas hard this week. 4-0, baby. We're gonna get it done. Boom.